Hey guys, so I wanted to talk about my story and put it out there because it's not something that I've actually done to this point on a video at least. There is my story on my blog, but I felt like it was time that I shared a video to hopefully inspire other people that might be going through the same that I had. I've been 8 years ago, I suddenly fell ill and I was diagnosed with ME, also known as chronic fatigue syndrome, and it's quite a misunderstood illness. And if you are someone that has been suffering or is suffering or knows someone that is suffering, this video might just help to inspire them. And it is exactly the reason why I started my blog Healthy Living James in the first place. So I thought it was a really good time for me to actually share a video of exactly my story and what has got me to here today. So if we go back 8, 9, 10 years ago, I used to be a really fit and healthy person. I was playing golf to a really high standard, representing Dorset and Bournemouth Uni. So my life was revolved around golf. It's something that I wanted to get a career in and become a professional. And I suddenly woke up one morning feeling very sick. I went home and I was sick for 2 weeks straight. I felt like it was food poisoning. I didn't really know what was going on, but I was just told to wait it out basically. So I just kept pushing myself, as you do sort of always think that you're going to be fine. So I kept pushing myself to a point where I completely collapsed. I was in a bad way. I wasn't able to talk, I wasn't communicating at all, I wasn't eating, I was hardly able to keep my eyes open, feeling absolutely terrible. And my dad actually physically had to carry me into my local doctor's surgery because I wasn't able to walk, and the only word that I could get out was ambulance. So they rushed me in for a suspected brain tumour and I was kept in for 2 weeks straight. I had every test you can imagine done and everything came back fine, so I was told to go home and rest. So I went home and rested, and the next 6 months nothing changed. If anything, I got worse. So I was in a dark room, I wasn't able to look at my phone, watch TV, have anyone come to visit me. So I was in a dark place. It was at that point that someone suggested that I had a nutritionist come out and visit me. So I had one come out and I wasn't able to even talk at this time, so she would sit on the end of my bed and my mum would talk to her about my story and what has happened. She suggested that I cut out gluten and dairy straight away to see if that made a difference. And it was at that time that I was also diagnosed with ME. You need to be suffering with symptoms for 6 months to actually get the diagnosis of ME. So I was diagnosed with that, and there wasn't really much support for me, to be honest. I didn't really get any support from the hospital, I wasn't getting support from my doctors. The only support I was really getting was through my nutritionist, and I had so many allergic reactions to medicines. I was given sleeping tablets because I wasn't sleeping. I was given antidepressants because they thought I was depressed. And I mean, who wouldn't be, being stuck in a dark bedroom for, well, 6 months at that time? I think everyone would feel a little bit down. So I was given those, I had allergic reactions to those. I was rushed back into hospital for certain allergic reactions to medication. Even in hospital I had a severe allergic reaction to one of the medications, and I was injected with adrenaline to bring me back round. So I was in a really scary place, and even talking about it now, it brings up a lot of memories that have kind of merged into one for me. But it's so important that I share my story and my journey of what has got me to here. And so at the 6 month point I was in a bad way, and I was told to cut out gluten and dairy. So my mum started cooking gluten and dairy free meals for me, and along with taking supplements that I was taking in such small doses because I was having those allergic reactions to everything. I was even scared to take vitamin C, it was that bad. So I was gradually building up. I also had Bowen therapy, I was having supplements, and I was cutting out gluten and dairy. And over the next 18 months, I was slowly improving. It was little things like I could get out of bed and walk to the window, which was only a few meters away, was a big achievement for me. Walking down the stairs became a big achievement. Then I would have to lay downstairs before I could even make it back. So little things built up, and I remember the first time that I stepped foot outside was after a year of being bedbound, and it was incredible. It felt like, I can't even describe it, it felt like everything was massive. And I felt at that point that I was on the right path to recovery. It still took me another year to get out of bed from that point, but I was so positive that I was going to get better, and my core belief was that I was going to get better and that I wanted to help other people, and I had absolutely no idea at that point that it was going to turn into food, which is now what it is about, and sharing my lifestyle. I had no idea. So it's quite incredible, really. So at the 2-year point, I was then able to move into a flat with Louisa, and she was often out working, and I was having to look after myself, cooking, and I was in a place where I didn't want to get takeaway meals or anything like that. I wanted to eat as good as I felt that I could eat with the energy that I had. And the market is drastically different now in the free-from sector than it was 6 years ago. Now you can pretty much buy whatever you want, gluten-free or whatever like that, or dairy-free, and back then there wasn't the option. I had to make things myself. So I had 5 to 10 minutes of energy. I would have a chair in my kitchen. I completely taught myself how to cook. I had no previous cooking skills, really. So I would just spend my energy a couple times a day in the kitchen, breakfast and lunch, sometimes dinner if I could, making food. And it was quite tough to make gluten and dairy free healthy meals in 10 minutes of energy, and that is the basis around a lot of my recipes now. That's why they're quite quick to make. They take minimal energy, because that is how I learned to cook. So my passion just kept building and building. My focus was solely on getting myself better, and it got to a point where family and friends were suggesting that I shared my journey, because I had something to give back to people and hopefully help them. And I was very scared about doing that, because I'd never shared much of my life before, but I thought, why not? So I always said to myself, like I said earlier, that I wanted to help other people, so I thought, why not? Let's just do it. It took me 6 months to build the recipes for the blog. Had no previous skills in website building, photography, food prep, food photography, none of that. It all was just learnt as I went along, and I took me 6 months to put recipes on the blog. And because at this point I still wasn't that well, I'd say I was about 50% recovered, something like that. So I put the recipes on there. I launched it out on the website in August 2016, so just over 2 years ago now. And I started to get obviously at the start I had no response, nothing like that, but I just kept going, and built it slowly, and was getting great feedback. I learned more as I went along with food photography, so my photos now are completely different to when I started. I make different kind of recipes now, and it's built to a point where it is now around 50,000 followers or something strong, really loyal following, and I'm absolutely loving what I'm doing. So I just wanted to sort of do a video about my story, and hopefully it can inspire and help other people that are either in the position or people that can relate to it, that have been there, because there just wasn't, well, I felt like there wasn't anyone giving me that hope when I was ill, and there definitely is hope for anyone that is struggling, that's watching this. You've just got to always believe, and do a lot of the research and the behind the scenes and hard work stuff yourself, or hopefully you have someone that can help support you, because without the support that I got, I definitely wouldn't be here. So hopefully that has helped, and if you're watching this and you've got a friend or someone that you know that's suffering with ME or any type of long-term illness really, send this over to them, and hopefully it can inspire them to or help them make changes and change their outlook on life, or the future that they have. So I thought it was just the right time for me to share my story on video. I don't like doing video, but that's, again, I've built that up to this point where it's becoming more normal for me. So yeah, hopefully that's helped. All the recipes on the blog are gluten, dairy, egg and refined sugar free, and that's just sharing my lifestyle of what has got me back to here. And I'm pretty much plant-based eater now, that's evolved over that time. So hopefully it's helped. Check out the website, share it with friends, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.